In the top stories, Deputy Prime Minister Jeffrey Hanley says students in Bastille deserve the new high school as government moves forward to deliver the new campus. Former President of Suriname, Chand Santoki, has died at the age of 67, and President Trump is criticizing allied nations over what he calls their poor response to the ongoing conflict with Iran. Hello and welcome to today's ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. I am Jasmine Thomas. First, on the local scene, the government of St. Christopher and Nevis is working to continuing on the new Bastille High School, with officials reaffirming their commitment to delivering the project. Minister of Education, Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Jeffrey Hanley addressed the project during Monday's Cabinet press conference. He said work on the new campus remains on track, adding that foundational work has been completed. Dr. Hanley also highlighted the project's economic impact, with many of the jobs expected to go to local workers.
The project is on its way, and as we indicated, 90% of the workers would be from this federation. Our skilled workers, our plumbers, our electrician, our laborers, our AC tech, our heavy equipment operators, even our food vendors, all of these persons are bound.
Hundreds of skilled workers and local service providers will also benefit from the development.
At the end of the day, this school is going to be one that is climate resilient, and it is a turnkey initiative, meaning when the building is done or completed, the campus, and I'm calling it a campus because it is in fact a campus, and it will be one of the best in the region as well.
Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Jeffrey Hanley. The government says business owners at South Friars will not be left behind as development moves forward in the area. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew gave that assurance during a cabinet press conference on Monday, addressing concerns about the relocation of beachfront operators. He said the process is being handled with fairness and with a focus on protecting livelihoods. Minister of Tourism Marsha Henderson and Attorney General Garth Wilkin also outlined the government's approach, saying alternative locations have already been identified for affected businesses. They stressed that the move is not about displacement, but about transitioning operators into a more structured and lawful environment. Attorney General Wilkin said the government has a responsibility to ensure that commercial activity is properly regulated while still supporting citizens through the process. Minister Henderson added that the development is important to maintaining the quality and appeal of South Friars as a key tourism location. Prime Minister Drew reiterated that the government will continue to engage stakeholders and support business owners as the transition continues. The Nevis Island administration is moving closer to its geothermal energy goal following high-level talks with Iceland Drilling Company Limited. Premier of Nevis and Minister of Energy Mark Brantley met with the company's leadership on March 26 as efforts continue to finalize a contract for exploratory drilling. Senior government officials and representatives from the Nevis Electricity Company were also part of the discussions as technical and contractual details were reviewed. The visiting delegation also held talks with NEVLEC, the island's implementing agency, as negotiations move into their final stages. With a possible August start date for drilling, the project is now entering a critical phase. Officials say the development could significantly reduce energy costs and position Nevis as a leader in renewable energy in the region. On the regional scene, former Suriname President Chandrika Prasad Santoki has died at the age of 67, prompting tributes from across the region and beyond. Current President Jennifer Geerlings Simons confirmed his death, describing his years of public service as significant to the country. Santoki served as president from 2020 to 2025. after previously holding key roles as Minister of Justice and Police and as a police commissioner. During his time in office, he led Suriname through a period of economic recovery supported by an International Monetary Fund program. However, reforms introduced under that program brought hard economic adjustments, including the removal of subsidies, which triggered public protests. Before entering politics, Santoki built a reputation in law enforcement, leading high-profile investigations and cracking down on organized crime. He was also known for his role in the investigation into the 1982 December killings, a defining moment in Suriname's history. Tributes have come from regional leaders, including CARICOM and the President of Guyana, who praised his leadership and service. The cause of death has not been disclosed. And as the war in Iran drives up global oil prices, Brazil is feeling less of the impact, thanks to a long-standing investment in biofuel. Millions of drivers in Brazil can choose between regular fuel and sugarcane-based ethanol or a blend of both. We hear more in this report.
Brazil has a special ingredient that's protecting its economy from the oil shocks of the war in the Middle East. Its 50-year-old industry of biofuels. Sugarcane plantations like this one in the countryside of São Paulo are responsible for up to 30% of the blend that's sold at the gas stations around the country. Not only that, but most vehicles in Brazil are flex, which means that they can run on 100% ethanol fuel, reducing the dependence on the imported oil gas.
Para se ter uma ideia, nós devemos incorporar nessa safra, que começa agora em abril, 4 bilhões de litros de etanol. Isso é o equivalente ao que o Brasil importou de gasolina no ano passado. Eu acho que a melhor notícia, mesmo diante de um caos como o que a gente está vivendo, é que essa solução tem um nível importante de replicabilidade. Outros países, com as políticas públicas adequadas, sempre de médio e de longo prazo, podem, de alguma maneira, implementar ecossistemas semelhantes.
No country is immune to the effects of the war, but Brazil's ethanol might be a very efficient tool to control a little bit of these impacts, especially at an election year.
And now for a look at news on the international scene. U.S. President Donald Trump is stepping up pressure on allies as the war with Iran drives up global oil prices and disrupts energy supplies. In a social media post, Trump criticized the countries he says have not done enough to support the U.S. military effort, telling them to get their own oil. His comments come as the conflict continues to intensify, with fresh strikes reported in Iran and attacks on energy targets across the region. The Strait of Hormuz remains a key flashpoint. The waterway handles a significant share of the world's oil, and disruptions there have pushed prices higher. Global markets have responded, with oil prices rising sharply and costs increasing for consumers. Tensions with U.S. allies are also growing. Countries, including Spain and Italy, have restricted the use of their territory and airspace for military operations linked to the war. The conflict, which began in late February, has left thousands dead and continues to raise concerns about a wider regional escalation. And a mayoral candidate in South Africa has taken an unusual approach to highlight failing infrastructure in Johannesburg. 75-year-old politician Helen Zell went snorkeling in a water-filled pothole on a suburban road, drawing attention to a burst pipe that had remained unfixed for years. Wearing a wetsuit and mask, Zill filmed herself paddling through the murky water, using the stunt to criticize what she describes as poor management by city authorities. She said the trench had been there for about 3 years, despite repeated reports. Johannesburg, Africa's wealthiest city by private wealth, has faced ongoing challenges with service delivery, including water shortages, power outages, and damaged roads. ZIZ, a former mayor of Cape Town, has announced she will contest local elections for the city's top post. The current mayor says the pipe has since been repaired and the road filled following the weekend incident. We now take a look at the weather. The weather across St. Christopher and Nevis, valid until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Partly cloudy skies are expected across the Federation, with a moderate chance of passing showers throughout the day and into the night. Temperatures will reach a high of 29 degrees Celsius or 84 degrees Fahrenheit, with an overnight low of 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will come from the east-northeast at 9 to 28 kilometers per hour. Seas will range between 1.5 to 2.4 meters or 5 to 8 feet, with northerly swells. A high surf advisory is in effect, particularly for northern and north-facing coastlines, where conditions may become hazardous. Sunset today is at about 6:24, and sunrise tomorrow will be at approximately 6 o'clock. That brings us to the end of the Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. God bless you.